One of the things that I really enjoyed about your book was how intentional I think you were to make the reader feel like they were there with you. And there were so many moments where I felt like I was having my morning coffee with you and with your dog. So I can only imagine that this morning was, and you're traveling at the moment, right?
Just got in last night.
Okay. So maybe your travel routine is a little different to normal, but espresso, cold shower, mantra, breath work. What did this morning look like for you?
Well, this morning I got a bit more rest because we just got in, so I trust my body. Usually my morning routine would be getting up at 4 o'clock. So I've written a book, The 5 a.m. Club, but to me that's almost minimal viable morning routine. I just love, as you mentioned, the new book, The Monk Who, the Wealth Money Can't Buy. There's a lot of personal elements in it. I live on an olive grove, and I just love, Simon, getting up at 4 o'clock, opening up the window and hearing the roosters and the dogs barking. And I'll lay in bed and I'll do MVP, meditation, visualization, and prayer. So maybe I'm focusing on a mantra. Maybe I'm visualizing one of the projects that I'm working on as if it was unfolding exactly the way I wanted it to. MVP, prayer. So meditation, visualization, prayer. I find prayer very powerful, especially very early in the morning. Setting out my intentions, praying for the health of my parents, my family, my readers, my team, the world. The world is in a messy place. About 4:45, I have a little gym at home. So I love getting on my elliptical.
This is in Italy?
In Italy. I live in Tuscany. So I have a little gym. We live in a old farmhouse. And so I have a gym set up. I'll get on the elliptical. I will hydrate. I love listening to audiobooks or a podcast, for example. So I'll do cardio, I'll do some weights, and I'll do mobility, which is important.
What are your go-to podcasts other than The Proof? What else do you like to listen to?
I'm obsessed with The Proof. I would say Lewis Howes's podcast,
School of Greatness.
School of Greatness. I'm going to be meeting him in a few days. Rick Rubin.
He's amazing.
I just think he's just so zen about everything, and I'm a creative. I'm an artist, as is everyone.
I noted there was a few references to him in there.
Yes, I mentioned a few of his quotes. So I like his podcast. I'll listen to some metaphysics podcasts as well. So audiobooks, podcasts. So I love learning while I'm sweating. And then at about 6 o'clock, I'll go into my writing room and I will have my espresso, exactly as you say. I'll have 2 cups of espresso. I'll play country music and I will pull out my journal and I will start writing. I will write about how I feel. I've never shared this before, but I'll put HDIF. How do I feel? HDIF. So I've never got into the actual logistics of me writing in the journal, but I will with you, Simon. So I pull out a fresh page, I'll put the date, and then I'll write a few lines about how I'm feeling. And then the first thing I'll write is, maybe it's, what the time is, where I am, and then HDIF, how do I feel? And then I'll just start free flowing. And then I often ask myself a series of morning questions that are very helpful for me. What am I grateful for? Where am I winning? What will I release today? What does an ideal day look like? Very powerful questions. And then I often will just set intentions. So I'll write about, and I have these things called game charts. So I've never shared this before, but you're getting me in all, you're doing your voodoo on me.
Try my best.
No, so what I'll do is I'll have a fresh page and I'll write in the center of it. It might be next 3 months, the next quarter. And then I'll start mind mapping what it all looks like creatively, productively, in my businesses, in my life, et cetera, et cetera. So I have a visual of it.
Get really clear.
Well, clarity breeds mastery. Vague plans lead to vague goals. So I want to be monomaniacally focused on the few things that are most important. I want to be a minimalist versus a maximalist. So that game charting technique is one of the things I do, and then I'll actually color them.
Why do you think that isn't something that is kind of intuitive that a lot of people do? Is it a scary thing to sort of map out everything that's ahead of us?
That's an excellent question. I just think a lot of it's as simple as it sounds. We're not taught these skills. We're taught geography and mathematics, and we're taught to fit into the crowd and think like everyone else. But these tools, whether it's game charting, whether it's MVP, meditation, visualization, and prayer, whether it's the social circle upgrade. In The Wealth Money Can't Buy, there's a chapter, recruit a dead board of directors, which we can talk about. But we're not taught these tools. And then often when we hear someone talking about them, they're so foreign, we dismiss them as not really workable.